Chasing the Falconers, Chapter 12. Miguel couldn't find any money to steal, but he did unearth some travel confirmations. The McKinnons of 144 Purple Sage Path, Hillside Park, Illinois, were at Disney World. They had flown United, rented from Hertz, and were staying at the Grand Floridian while the Sunnydale escapees borrowed their home. "He's not just a thief and a killer," Meg whispered to Aiden. "He's also a pretty decent spy." With the family on vacation, the house was empty of food except for 3 frozen pizzas, all gone by the time Judge Judy came on television. "The Legend of Sunnydale," Aiden observed. "We can watch anything, no matter how boring." "Bring on Dr. Phil," agreed Meg. Miguel had a complaint. "Compared to my brother's setup, this dinky screen is a postage stamp." The looting of the upstairs bedrooms was next. The McKinnons had 4 children, and there were clothes for everyone. To Miguel's humiliation, he was a perfect fit for Miss McKinnon's shoes. He set to work in the garage, blackening a pair of ladies' Reeboks with a tube of General Motors touch-up paint. Aiden and Meg channel surfed in the den, searching for details on the hunt for the Sunnydale escapees. The Chicago News did a short account of the chase in the train station, but it was sandwiched between local crime pieces. CNN had nothing, although the scrolling updates at the bottom of the screen did mention that all but 6 of the missing juvenile offenders had been apprehended. "I wonder who the other 3 are," mused Aiden. "That's so like you, bro," Megan told him. "You won't worry about the wrong stuff. Who cares who else made it? We made it. That's all that matters. The big question is, how do we get to Vermont from here? And," she dropped her voice to a whisper, "how do we get away from that maniac? The sooner we kiss off Miguel, the sooner we can both breathe easier." Aiden hesitated. He wasn't convinced that splitting from Miguel was the wisest choice for them. As fugitives, the Falconers were completely clueless, flying by the seat of their pants. Miguel, on the other hand, had experience living outside the law. Yes, he was dangerous, but he might be a valuable guide. For a while, anyway. Miguel strolled into the room, modeling the painted Reeboks. "Check it out. I must be bad or something." "Bad isn't the half of it," Meg muttered. "Cheer up, little sis. You should be smiling. Why don't you ask me how we're going to get out of here?" Aiden came alive. "You have a plan?" In answer, Miguel jingled a set of car keys. "But," Meg was incredulous, "we don't know how to drive." "Speak for yourself. I was boosting rides when you were still playing with Barbies." "Absolutely not," Aiden said firmly. "Come on, Miguel. These poor people. We break into their house, eat their food, steal their clothes. We're not going to rip off their car. No way." "Dear Mr. and Mrs. McCannon, there's probably not much we can say to make you forgive us for what we did to you. We're very sorry, but we had no choice. Someday, if things work out, we hope we can pay you back. Trust me, no one wants to do that more than we do." The car horn echoed through the house like an air raid siren. "Our chauffeur awaits," Meg commented dryly. Aiden was still staring at the paper. "It's the only way," he thought, convincing himself for at least the 5th time. "The cops will be expecting us to hop on a train or a bus. This is our ticket out. Our ticket east." More honking. Hurriedly, he scribbled the rest of the note. "Please believe me, this is not how we usually are. We're not bad people, but we're desperate." He put down the pen and said, "Let's go." Miguel grinned from the wheel of a black Chevy Tahoe. "You navigate," he told Aiden, indicating a tattered map spread across the passenger seat. Meg climbed into the back. They had delayed their departure until the cover of darkness. Opening the garage door flooded Purple Sage Path with blazing light. "They can probably see us from the space shuttle," Aiden thought nervously. Now that the moment had arrived, abandoning their refuge seemed reckless and insane. Inside the McKinnons' house, they were safe. Outside, anything could happen. "Watch it!" Meg exclaimed as the heavy SUV bounced over the curbstones. "You're on the lawn!" Miguel snorted in glee. "This is Grand Theft Auto! Gonna yell at me for tire marks on the grass?" He shifted out of reverse and roared off. Navigation was bedlam, with Meg calling out street names and Aiden poring over the map, trying to place them in the spaghetti of roads and highways. The chaos just made Miguel laugh harder and drive faster. He was having the time of his life. Nothing like an A felony to bring out your inner child. All at once, Meg cried, "Elmham Road! Turn left!" Miguel yanked on the wheel, and there it was, the entrance to the interstate, half a mile ahead. Flashing lights played off the tops of the parking lot of stopped cars clogging the roadway. There, before the ramp, were stationed four uniformed policemen, shining flashlights into windshields. Aiden's formless fears suddenly crystallized with a crunch. Roadblock, he rasped. Meg was incredulous. For us? But her reasoning crumbled to dust. Of course the police would be expecting them to make a break for it. And where would the cops look? Freeway entrances near the spot where the fugitives were last seen. Miguel threw the Tahoe into reverse, but it was too late. There were already several cars behind them. Aiden looked around frantically. On their left, a 2-foot high concrete barrier separated them from the oncoming traffic. On the right was a huge construction site, a deep ditch that took up an entire city block. They've got us, he groaned. They've got squat, said Miguel, shutting off the headlights. With the grinding of gears, he shifted into four-wheel drive, swung out of the line of cars, and gunned the engine. The Tahoe roared off the edge of the excavation. They were airborne, unconnected to anything on the ground. Through his horror and disbelief, Aiden felt gravity take over from the force of the car's forward momentum. They were falling. The SUV lurched as its tires made contact with the dirt truck ramp. They rattled across the mud and rocks of the ditch, swerving at the last second to avoid cement mixers and portable generators. Aiden peered out the back window. I don't think anybody's following us. Hey, how'd you know that truck ramp was going to be there? Miguel gazed Miguel's gaze never wavered from the obstacle course of construction equipment. I didn't. At the far side of the site, another ramp led back to street level. No sirens or flashing lights awaited them there. They had dodged the bullet. They crossed the city by dimly lit surface roads. They would have to get on the freeway eventually, but the metro area was an awfully large haystack, and three kids in a Tahoe represented a single needle. The Chicago grid hid them all the way to the Indiana border. Later, as they stopped for a bathroom break, Meg whispered to her brother, This guy was ready to drive off a 20-foot cliff. We've got to ditch him before he gets us killed. Aiden was toying with the idea that the opposite might be true. If they were to have, if they were to have a prayer of helping their parents, they would have to watch Miguel, to learn from him, almost be him in a sense. To survive as a fugitive, you have to be a little bit crazy.